Hello, I'm Coach Frank Allocco, and today I'd like to speak to you about patience and persistence. My cousin, Greg Allocco, is one of my all-time favorite people. I can still picture him when he was a young boy coming to my high school games. As he sat proudly with his parents, he was so excited and so eager to compete. I can remember my regular visits to Greg's home when he was just a toddler. I would throw him grounders and pitch to him in his backyard in Summit, New Jersey. He was the best switch hitting 5-year-old I've ever seen. I was blessed to be Greg's hero, and our relationship grew through our mutual admiration and our love of competition. During the next 5 years, we played countless wiffle ball games in my backyard in New Providence. Like a Hallmark movie, the games always followed the same script. I would keep it close until the last inning. And then I would mount this furious comeback to overcome the small lead that I had orchestrated. And afterwards, we would sit on my parents' porch and I would break the game down and encourage him to keep working on his skills. I would give him hope with those narrow defeats. But I felt that if I let him win, he would then overestimate his talents. He'd think he had achieved his goals, and he wouldn't listen to me. Or worse yet, he wouldn't work as hard to fulfill his potential. In 1976, I drove to Greg's house to break the news to the 8-year-old youngster that I was moving to California. Greg was heartbroken as I shared the news, but I assured him that I would come back in the summers to play him in wiffle ball. I told him that I would call him and I would write, and I instructed him to use this year to work on your game and to surprise me with your development when I return. During the next 2 weeks, we crammed in as many games as we could. But as the spring became summer, the dreaded time had finally come, and the day before I left, we played our last ball game of our season. Our one-on-one wiffle ball rules were very simple. 1 out per half inning. A ball hit past the pitcher was a single. A ball hit off the house was a double. Above the bedroom windows on the 2-story house was a triple, and over the house or landing on the short right field porch roof was a home run. A ground ball or fly ball fielded by the pitcher was an out, and 2 strikes were a strikeout. On this day, Greg got off to his usual great start and was leading 3-1 as we entered the bottom of the 9th inning. This game had a special significance, as he knew this was our last time together before a year-long separation and eternity for a young child. As I came up for my final at-bats, I was poised and ready for the 3-run outburst that I was going to have to win this game once again, keeping it just close enough. My plan backfired when I hit a short pop-up toward the tetherball pole by the third base line. Greg ran just 3 steps toward the ball in his attempt to catch the routine fly ball and secure his first ever win. The game action turned to slow motion as the 8-year-old boy's face lit up with the biggest smile I've ever seen. He couldn't contain his emotions as he watched the ball descend toward his hands with great elation, only to see his happiness shattered as the ball bounced off his hands and landed softly onto the ground. After this untimely error, he gathered himself, he threw a fastball which was rocketed off the house for a double. And with runners on second and third, His next pitch was lofted over the house for a 3-run home run and a 4-3 loss. Greg began to cry, and I tried to console him by telling him how close to winning he was getting. My words rang hollow as he dejectedly proclaimed, "I can never beat you." And hearing the sadness in his voice, I put my arm around him and I explained that he was 8 and I was 23 years old, and he shouldn't be able to beat me. And I assured him that today the breaks didn't go his way, but he was on his way to being a special, special player. He sobbed as he said, "I know I shouldn't win, but I just wanted to beat you once before you moved." I then realized that his inconsolable tears were not about the game. It was the realization that his best friend was moving away. And as I tried to comfort him, he kept saying, "I just wanted to beat you one time." I then asked if it would have made him feel better if I let him win. He answered, "Yes, I just wanted to be able to say I beat you." As we sat together on the porch steps, I told him that if I had let him win, it would mean nothing to him. I stressed the 15-year gap in our ages, and I guaranteed him that there will be a time when he would be all grown up and able to beat me. But that time was not now. I explained that the beauty of being 8 years old is that he had the gift of time, and that he had to be patient and persistent and commit to continue to listen and learn. And as he leaned closer to me, I hugged him tenderly, and I promised him that I would always be there for him, that I would be his best friend forever. His tears slowly subsided. As we put the wiffle ball and bat away, we grabbed our baseball gloves, and I threw him pop-ups and grounders until sundown. And as the sky darkened, his spirits brightened with my broadcast of each one of his catches as we pretended he was the shortstop in the New York Yankees lineup. Greg went on to become an all-conference, all-county, and all-state player in baseball and in basketball at Governor Livingston High School. He was a sure-handed shortstop, a captain in both sports, a beloved leader who challenged his teammates to work hard and achieve their individual and team goals. He continued his career at Susquehanna University, where he was a team captain and most valuable player on the basketball team, but more importantly, a loving and loyal teammate who was revered by his peers. The summer lessons learned by Greg: to bide your time, take control of your development, and that real success is not given but is earned, became the core lessons he imparts to the young players he has coached in Ohio youth and high school basketball in over 3 decades of coaching. Greg and I still cherish our summers together as we meet every August in New Jersey to share in our ministry of mentoring the young boys and girls of our Excel camps. 10 years after a missed fly ball cost him a precious victory, the 18-year-old all-state performer challenged his 33-year-old cousin to their annual game. We returned to the wiffle ball field in my parents' backyard that had shrunk with time. as Greg clung to a 6-5 lead in the bottom of the ninth. His nasty curveball broke violently as my plastic bat barely made contact. The short fly ball drifted lazily toward the pitcher's mound. He barely moved as he secured the ball in his confident and strong hands. The streak was over. His time had come. Keep listening, keep learning, and strive to be your best. And remember, excellence doesn't take days off.